I was, in California. He had so many different series and whatever the case is. I got lost in his stories. And so I always visualize myself out this way. And then when I say writing myself, I kind of picture myself Bayside or whatever, B-side, writing and being real bougie. So I got to experience some of that this past weekend, and it was pretty cool. I brought my sister with me. Yay! And I brought one of my veteran artists with me, Joshua Wilson.
Hello.
And he allowed me to be a tourist, and I got on his nerves, and he didn't even complain. So, but anyway, thank you all so much for allowing me to come and expose myself to you all during this year. I've actually been watching this conference for about 10 years since I got into the industry. And I've been wanting to be here since I first discovered it. So thank you so much. So a little bit about my the introduction is kind of pretty much head on. I like to expose the fact that I was a free mother, I still am. And all of my dreams, as far as early on, became obsolete. Once I became a mother and assisting my own mother, my own dreams and aspirations. And that tends to be the norm for women when we begin to build families and even get married. Our own, dreams and ambitions seem to take the back seat. And mine did that as well. And once I began to kind of get settled into the life of being a mother and a wife, that became my normalcy. It wasn't until 2006 when I pretty much experienced the worst encounter you possibly could by witnessing my mother pass away. I sat in freehand a book 3 weeks later called The Ultimate No-No. It was more of my therapeutic outlet to not think about what was currently going on, not knowing that was going to end up opening doors that led me to even standing here today. So the ultimate no-no was, it was drama. You like to, I like to gossip on my job. But it tends to center around love because I believe in love. I love black love. I love the whole process of falling in love. It's to stay in love that gets us in trouble. And so the ultimate no-no highlighted all of those elements of falling in love, staying in love, breaking up, and trying to get back to what makes sense. That book I wrote in about 3 weeks or so. And it sat on my bookshelf for about 2 years.
Excuse me, could you hold the mic a little closer?
Oh, I'm sorry. And it sat on my bookshelf for about 2 years. By this time, I was living in San Antonio. I didn't have any friends or family, and I wanted to be a part of a book club, kind of like how you ladies are. I thought it'd be pretty weird if I walk up to a random lady. Excuse me, how are you? You ain't my friend? It's a little weird, right? Grown folks don't really do that. So, what I did, see, she laughed in my face. So I didn't want to get my feelings hurt. So I decided to, this was back then when MySpace was like the #1 social media outlet. So I went in there and I started just posting books that I read, like Eric John Dickey, Mary Monroe. What Mary? Mary? Hey, Mary! Tara McMillan and LaJill Hunt. I used to read a lot of their books. And I just started posting their books and telling everybody, about it. And I was so bored, y'all, and I didn't have any friends that I just posted all day long. And eventually other writers began to ask me to read their books. And at this point, I only saw what Black Expressions used to put out into that. And it would always often be the same names. Not Black Expressions, but hey, I didn't know there were hundreds of others. And when people on MySpace began to reach out, I was like, well, let me read their books because they're kind of like me. I got this book I wrote 2 years ago, and I want to know how they did it. And this is how I discovered self-publishing. And that whole book club became AAMBC, which stands for African Americans on the Move Book Club. That was my very, very first company. I was 20 years old at this point. And when I started reviewing novels and asking these writers how they got started, I went and studied the craft of self-publishing. I went and dusted off that book that I wrote 2 years prior, and I self-published my book, The Ultimate No-No. Now before, this was back in 2009, and before my first book even came out, this is how excited I really was. I had booked my first flight. Remind you, I have not been on a plane. And I booked my first flight to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. I was really, really excited. I ordered like 40 books or something of that nature, shipped it out to my hotel. Got on the flight, and I was the only one screaming and hollering. I was in the air. That's not normal. We're from the ground. So once I made it to Raleigh, y'all, I was so excited. I set my little book up. The cover was ugly, first of all, but hey, I set my book down. I did my book chat and all that jazz. Y'all asked me how many books I sold.
40.
Oh. I sold, no, I sold 2 books. That's big. That's good. Hello, my head. That's 2 people that have not read my book. That's exactly how I felt, though. You know, most people like, oh my God, I only sold 2, and I spent all this money, and I ain't make it back. I wasn't in it for the money. Like, I wanted people to read my story, and 2 people read my story, and then I gave 2 more away. So, North Carolina that weekend got 4 of my books. So, you know, and this was before my book even came out. I was on the plane. I'm like, this is gonna be fun. You're gonna read my story, all that jazz. And so, even before I got back home, I was booking my next trip. Okay, where can I go next? And I did that every month. Every month. And I eventually ended up getting to New York City 9 months after that book came out, meeting the editor of Kingston, who said, I heard about this book, The Ultimate Known. I was like, oh, for real? Okay, that's dope. She's like, she wanted to read it. Okay, my first thought was $10, but I guess I'll be nice. I didn't want to be rude, so I gave her the book, went back home to San Antonio. I was still bored. Forgot all about it. Started writing part 2 of The Ultimate Known. Because I figured if I'm be traveling, I need to have more than 1 book, so, you know, I can sell more product. That's what I'm thinking. So I get an email, and the editor, who's Selena James, who's still in Kensington, said that they want to option and buy the book. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? And we got on the phone, long story short, because now I'm getting long-winded. I ended up signing a mass market production or whatever of The Ultimate No-No. And it ended up being like everywhere. Like it was everywhere, y'all. It's better than 2. It ended up being on the shelves at Target and Walmart and Borders back then. You know, books and it was one of those moments. From there, I went on. I started publishing. Delphine Publications, which is named after my mother, went on to kind of growth a lot. By 23, I had dropped out of college and I quit my job. I'm standing in front of you now, 31 years old, and I have yet to go and clock in for somebody else. That's right. Am I supposed to be talking about this? About 30 minutes to do it. Okay, so you got 30 minutes. Okay, cool. So, now here I am. I am divorced. I have 2 children. My daughter, she's now 15. She writes just like me. My son, who is 10, who is born 3 days before my 21st birthday, also writes. And he's my manager as well. If he was here, he would have sold books. Okay. Yeah, he's my manager. So he makes sure that my books get sold. He collects the money. He does the setup. He's been doing it since he was 3 years old. He was pressed to be on the road. And now he's like, Mom, when can I get a job? Because he wants to start earning his own money. So that's my little man. He's my manager for real. And so I've been in love a couple times. So when I wrote The Ultimate No-No, I had not been in love. Now, remind you, so I was married. Were you married? Yeah, I was married, but, you know, I ain't like him. So, it don't count till you like them, right? Tell them to stay. Okay, well, we're going to make our own room. If you don't like them, it don't count. So, we're going to make our own room. So, it was about 27 when I ended up meeting someone who really showed me what it was like to really love someone and communicate with somebody and build with them. And from there, I ended up writing a book called The Words I Didn't Say.
What's it called?
The Words I Didn't Say. I'm sorry, The Words I Didn't Say. So here come my shameless plug. So, The Words I Didn't Say, this is one of my latest full-length novels that I've written. mirrors my life the most. And so I want to talk about this project just a little bit because, as I said, I love love and I'm big on black love and falling, well, not just necessarily black love, but falling in love, period. And actually enjoying someone and building with someone. And I experienced a love affair that I felt like was transitional for me. I grew up, I learned how to cook, I learned some other things I can't talk about. And first and foremost, I really learned how to communicate. The title of the book, The Words I Didn't Say, is almost self-explanatory. But sometimes we may find ourselves in situations or circumstances where it scares us. And we may try to control the situation. And I'm a Gemini, so I like to control a lot of things. Shout out to my Geminis. Hey. In real life, I met an individual. We had this great love affair, mentally, physically, and spiritually. But we both like to have our cake and eat it too. And society likes to mirror that men does that, and that's the only person that likes to have their cake and eat it too. But I'm one of those people that like to have their cake, eat it too, and then sometimes cut off a slice, put it up, and save it for later. That's me. And when I began to join myself with this other individual, he was in the same situation or the same mindset. And although we were great together, we had our own selfish reasons on why we never really made it official, why we never really even took that extra step. And so a lot of things went unsaid, still to this day. It's interesting. And so I wanted to create a love story where you can see the final outcome where you cannot change it or it's absolutely too late. And you may have that chance on missing out on something that could have been genuine and good for you. So with The Words I Didn't Say, in part two I needed a male voice, so I brought in a male writer to kind of give me that extra boost. You kind of discover love from their perspective, and then you see their mistakes, and hopefully you'll learn something from those mistakes. Or if you've already committed a mistake, because I'm pretty sure we all have a favorite mistake in here, somebody you just won't let go. I'm trying to let go one now, y'all pray for me. So hopefully when you read this novel, and I hope you guys will read the novel, that maybe you'll tap into some of your own personal circumstances and try to close those chapters. So don't let those words go unsaid. Don't do what I did. You don't deserve the words, in real life, but I'm just saying. So, with that being said, I am here till Monday morning, and my favorite hobby to do is eat. So if y'all are locals and y'all cooking Sunday dinner, y'all want to invite me over. I won't be mad. I'm very open to that. We can even set up an impromptu flip sign, all that jazz. Hustle and eat. And anyway, thank you all so much. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
When is part 2 of Plain coming
Yeah. Okay, so Plain
Can
Jane.
you repeat her question?
Oh, yes. She asked when is part 2 of Plain Jane coming out. So I guess I'll tell y'all a little about Plain Jane. To answer your question, my goal is this winter. When I wrote this book, this is my nasty book. This is for the grown folks. It should be censored, but Plain Jane isn't so plain. If you know what I mean. So her favorite quote is, "Why have love when you can just have great sex?" And in a time in my life, I kind of felt the same way. Like it doesn't always have to be something more. It could just be what it is, So with Plain Jane. Have you read it?
I have read it.
Okay.
Wait for part 2.
Okay, part 2 halfway written. Okay, part 2 is halfway written. I just, started, I fell in love. Dang, I got a confession. Put it out of me. Okay. I fell in love, y'all. I wasn't so Plain Jane anymore. I fell in love. I had this great affair, and we built this life together. And then he started acting like, I don't want to cuss, So, one of those. And then I started acting like one of those. And then we were both stubborn, still are. And, then I wasn't writing anymore. So, but I'm balancing it out now. So now I know how to balance love, and so that's my confession. Okay. So, I'm sorry, I'm getting better now. I used to be stronger,
I'm just happy that it's
Yeah, it's gonna be available. So let me have my little sentimental moment. So back to Plain Jane. So it will be out this winter. Half of it is written already. I do promise.
Okay.
And all I gotta do is, sit down, write it out, and you know what? I'll find some inspiration. I need some inspiration to be Plain Jane. So once I find some inspiration, y'all know what I mean, right? Yeah. I'm the one that has that mind. Okay. So once I find me some new inspiration. Yeah. So anybody on Facebook Live, you in Atlanta, holla at me. So, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So you said you self-published your first book.
Yes.
Did you have an editor?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so when I self-published my first book, I pretty much did the work. I found a designer, I found an editor, a typesetter. I didn't know any of these things, didn't even know what an ISBN was. But what I did was, what does Aviana say? You got to do the work, right? Yeah. So I went and did the work. I went and spent the money, I went and did the research, and then I went and booked my own flight. I didn't wait for anybody to put me on anybody's tour. I didn't wait for anybody to say my work was good enough and want to publish me. I didn't wait for someone just to give it to me. So like I was telling my sister, first of all, my sister took my Facebook status, y'all. So if y'all can friend her on Facebook, that's my status. And it was something like, if it doesn't exist, then make it exist. So my book career didn't exist. My book wasn't in print. But I didn't want to sit back and wait for someone to say that I was good enough. So I did it myself. And I continued to do it myself. And so then when others began to kind of see that work being done, they wanted assistance. So I brought on other people. And the difference between my publishing with a lot of other, not all, but just a lot of other publishers, is I focus on the whole package because we're artists. So I want them to understand their craft. I want them to understand the marketing aspect. I want them to understand what their voice is, their look, all that jazz. We're more than just a book, we're just a product. So with every author that I've ever published, I always took that extra step. I always didn't come back tenfold, but that wasn't, the point. I wanted to pass it forward. Whatever you do with this information, that's what you do with it. So shout out to everyone that used to be on Delphine. Shout out to everybody who's still on Delphine. Yes, ma'am.
Do you work with a literary agent or do you work directly with your publisher?
I work directly with the publisher.
Oh,
I've never had an agent. I've actually agent out projects, which is interesting. But I've never had one. But if one is listening or one is in the room, and y'all want to assist, by all means, let's have a conversation. Any agent? What did y'all put in the words?
Why would you?
Ma'am?
Why would you want?
Oh, okay. So why would I want an agent? Because at this point in my career now, I produce an award show, which I meant to talk about too. So I'm busy. 20 minutes, okay. So I'm busy, so I don't really have a lot of time to just sit and write and promote or try to get that distribution. And the industry isn't the same anymore. So when I came into the industry 10 years ago, it was, let's say 100. I'm just throwing out a number. Now it's like 10,000. Like it's too many folks. Like everyone is publishing and it's really, really crowded. And people are kind of just trying to grab readers wherever they can. So everybody's kind of trying to find their place. And book sales aren't as the same as they used to be. Like it's kind of different for everybody across the board. And to stay on top, you have to consistently be writing and promoting. And if I could build, a team or have an agent that's doing some things that will, give me some more time to write and promote, that'd be great. So that's why I would like an agent. But and a publicist. Once the word, pro bono, we built this thing together. We all will be at the end of the day. But I produced an award show now. So when I first was talking, I spoke of AAMBC, which is the book club I started on MySpace. I took kind of how Essence Online runs their network, or Hello Beautiful. It just kind of bothered me that Black writers weren't really seen anywhere. Like we're not on the magazine covers. We're not getting in the radio interviews. Essence isn't, designating a whole big area for Black writers, just Black books, period. Like Black books, period. And I find it ironic that we came here and they didn't want us to read, but now not only are we reading, but we're writing. It's a lot of us. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about all these people's books, and I wanted to expose their books. So it went from just an online platform to me saying, well, wait, we only got so many award shows, but then the award shows we do have, they're honoring the same people all over again. Like, I write too, and I want to be nominated for something. So I said, well, why don't I create a platform for Black writers where we honor and we celebrate ourselves and our books. That whole idea and concept has grew into something that I really did not expect. Now with it being a nonprofit, and I've taken it, I visualized how Black Girls Rock is on BET. So now we have a theater hall that we have performers come out. We have a really, really cool band that keeps the crowd rocking. And then I've incorporated into the entertainment industry. So I invite the movie stars, I invite the singers, I invite the publicists and the bloggers. I invite all of them into our world because they tend to neglect ours, thinking it's boring. But writers aren't boring, we're really, really fun. Ain't we fun? Yeah. And not only that, writing goes beyond books. It goes to screenwriters and plays, and I wanted to incorporate all of those people. And so the AAMBC Literary Awards, we do it every June in Atlanta. This past year we honored Nikki Giovanni and Terry Woods. And then this year, I don't know who we're gonna honor just yet, but we're working on it. It's our 10th year. And that whole entire weekend now, it costs like up to $20,000 just to produce it. And by all means, by the grace of God, like every year we're able to not only fund it, but I'm able to have people come into the city and I'm able to get them some type of incentive and, house them up and things like that and pay for entertainment. And it's pretty dope. So the AAMBC Awards, we made it a whole weekend, kind of concepts like this where we do like socials and how the Grammys would do their gifting suites and they have these brands come in. We try to it's the same setup. And the reason why I've done it like that is so that the entertainment industry will gravitate to it. Because sometimes what they don't understand, they will ignore. So I want to familiarize it a little bit and get those celebrities in and get us exposed. And I want us on the billboards. I want us on the magazine covers. I want us on radio stations. Because without writers, none of this would exist anyway. Right. So that's my thing. So, 15 minutes. And you have you're right. With that being said, I now have 15 books out. I have a few here with me. My favorite series, which I think most of you ladies will enjoy, is The Worst I Didn't Say. And also a bedtime story with your loved ones. Y'all can read this together and act out some of the scenes. And then I wrote a book based on my life called Cookie. And so if you guys are really nosy like I am, if you want to know a little bit more about me, Cookie, a Folklore Story, which is fictional based, but 80% true. I have that as well. So, and then Kisses Don't Lie. And Kisses really don't lie to you, everything you need to know. So, I have these here, and I will sign if you all want to dig into my world.
All right.
Thank you.